Good morning, gifted crafters. It's crafting time.
Today is gonna be that day. Gonna have things go my way. Embroidering fashion that sells. Using all my knowledge, I will excel. Stitch by stitch, let color shine bright. Turning a blank canvas into art feels right. Time is flying by and this is my art. With embroidery machines, I'm doing my part. I search the web for a magical design, looking high and low as I sip on my wine. Metallic thread, watch it shimmer and shine. I transform my blanks into a one-of-a-kind. Stitch by stitch, let color shine bright. Turning a blank canvas into art feels right. Time is flying by and this is my art. With embroidery machines, I'm doing my part. Hook it up if you wanna embroider. Got the right tension, got my colors in order. Please no thread breaks, no time for rest. So much to do, I'll give it my best. Stitch by stitch, let color shine bright. Turning a blank canvas into art feels right. Time is flying by and this is my art. With embroidery machines, I'm doing my part.
Live from the Sunshine State in Miami, Florida, here is the Gifted Crafters Morning Show with Nancy.
Good time. Ooh, time to get our craft on. Ooh, time to have fun. Ooh, time to feel good.
Good morning, Gifted Crafters, and welcome back to the Gifted Crafters Morning Show. Good morning out there. We've got people tuning in from all over the place, and let's see where they're tuning in from. We've got Lisa from Richmond, Illinois. I've got Becky from North Central Texas, JBL from Alabama. Let's see, we've got Nancy from Boston. Hello there. I love your name. Okay, we've got, let's see, Alabama. We've got our friends from Canada. Good morning. How are you? I hope you guys are all having a fantastic morning. If you're tuning in for the first time, my name is Nancy with GiftsHQ, and this is just a daily session that we like to do Monday through Friday to just talk about all kinds of crafts. We like to do demos, little projects, share all kinds of little tips and tricks. So jump into that chat there because we have an awesome community and we really love to just share all kinds of tips, tricks, and ideas. And we just have a great time. So if that's something that you're into, you're certainly in the right place. Go ahead and put your name there in the chat. Let them know that you're chatting for the first time so we can welcome you in. All right, we've got Marge from Wisconsin. We've got Jenny from San Antonio, Texas. We've got Wonder Woman there. Yay. We've got from East Texas, Melissa. Thank you all for tuning in. I really appreciate all the support you guys are giving. I see Lisa from Richmond, Illinois. Not sure if I missed anyone. Kind of the chat was kind of going, but if I did, I'm sorry. And good morning. And I hope you guys, you know, are going to love what we have for you this hour. We are recently back from a trip from Sarasota, and we shared all our adventures with you guys with videos and pictures. And then yesterday we kind of shared the little shopping spree that I was able to do there. Lots and lots of fun. We had a great time. And today we're gonna kind of get back to business because we've got a lot of projects to finish up. And guys, we're already in the middle of August, going into the fall, and you know, the tail end of the year is there. So today is hump day and we are ready to get going. It's Wednesday and I feel like we're kind of falling a little behind. So we got to kind of jump into a couple of projects that we need to start really rocking here. So lots of stuff to do today, and we've got a lot of info to share. So let's get to it, shall we? First, we're gonna need to grab our little drink. So wherever you are, go ahead and grab your little drink. If you don't have one, don't worry, I'll pour one for you. Just grab anything that you like to drink in the morning. Coffee, tea, soda, water, juice, whatever it is that you have in the morning to get you going. Go ahead and grab it and raise that glass so we can do our little toast to a fantastic day. So let's go ahead. I'm going to grab a little swivel myself. Okay, delicious. Alrighty. I have some ice water. Gets me going. I'm tuning in from Miami, Florida, and it's a scorcher out there. But we've got our little drinks. I'm hoping you're in your nice little cozy spot, or at least somewhere where you can safely watch. And now we are just ready for snacks. Yes, Jenny, she wants her coffee. A lot of people are asking about their snacks. And today we are not going to the food truck. We are not going to the cart. No, we're not doing any of that. We're actually going to our virtual snack shack. And so let's head on over there because it's just a beautiful day. There it is. Okay, yeah, we've got a virtual snack shack, guys, and don't worry, we do free deliveries and you can have anything that you want. Doesn't cost you a thing. Yes, we have all your wonderful items there. We've got your coffee, tea, donuts, sodas, croissants, muffins, all that good stuff. We even have the vegetables for the carrots and the kales. And guys, don't feed the dolphins, okay? Please don't feed the dolphins. Because, you know, they have their own thing that they like, and I don't think they're gonna enjoy your muffins. So, okay, I hope you guys enjoyed that one. That's just a new place that we can go and, you know, hang out. You're drinking your apple juice? Well, good for you, Leslie. Definitely. Awesome. Alrighty, 2 please on the coffee. Yes, all the coffee is there. We got cream and sugar, everything is there. So grab your snacks, grab your drinks, get yourself in your cozy spot because we're ready to go. Alrighty, so a couple things we want to talk about real quick, and then we're going to get to our crafting news in just a minute. Oh, you can see you're eating popcorn. Oh my goodness, Cindy. In the morning, but it's okay. It's all good. There's no judgment here. Popcorn is actually very good. I love popcorn. It's one of my favorite snacks. Okay, so we have been talking about yesterday a little pot holder that I thought was absolutely adorable. They did have it in the shop, but there's no pattern for it. So guess what I was doing last night? I mean, it's just too cute. I can't. I just need to have, something for this. So what I started to do here, let me scoot this over. I started to kind of write up a pattern myself. So How many times have you done that? Like you see something you totally love in the store and you look at it and say, I can make that. And so you're kind of analyzing the stitches and all the little pieces here, and you're trying to figure out how to make that yourself. And so that's what I was kind of doing, and what I can possibly do and change and things like that. So we, you know, as people who love to sew, you really like to analyze things and see how to make things and then how to make it your own. But you know, it's really, really cool. I mean, I don't want to take the credit away from whoever it was that made this. I know there's no pattern available, and I went online and there are a few people doing different versions of this, but man, I'd like to kind of make it my own. So if you are interested in this pot holder, just give Alma Sue a call in her shop. They did have a ton of these, and she said they are pretty popular, so people snag them, but they did have a lot of them, and they're out in Sarasota. So give them a call. I think their shop was closed on Sundays and Mondays, I believe it was, but you should be good to go now if you call. They're still on their summer hours, so I think they still close early, but they were switching over to the fall hours soon. But I like to kind of look at it and make it my own, and maybe make a zipper pouch out of it or do something different. And so I was just kind of analyzing this, and I was kind of just making my own steps on what the measurements I think should be. And this is just kind of a, you know, mock-up of what I do and how I think and how I create. So I kind of just make my notes and then just kind of draw things out and, you know, kind of play with it. So my next step now is just to take a couple scrap fabrics and try to figure out the pattern, and let's see how mine comes out. So you can just go crazy with this thing. There's just so many things you can make with this, embroidery wise, design wise. I mean, I was thinking a little belt with a little buckle in the front, or, you know, maybe some side pockets, or, you know, maybe little flowers down on the end to represent the front, just like the back has this. I think it should be added to the front too. To me, this is just way too plain for the front. So definitely want to add something here. So that's kind of what I was working on last night, and it was a lot of fun just kind of doing that. So that's one thing. So the other thing is that we said we were going to start the Spooky and Sweet Mystery Quilt. So I had starched my fabrics, I ironed them, and I started my cutting yesterday. So we're going to get to all of that in just a minute. So I'm going to move this over. Actually, I'm going to put it over here. And before we get in too much into the weeds on all the stuff that we've got going on, let's get this really quickly. Let's go over to our crafting news, and we're gonna get this done. Oh, the link to the project that we're doing, the Spooky and Sweet, I put the video description, I'm sorry, the link to in the video description. So the links are all provided down below if you guys are interested in doing this with me. Yeah, Cindy says a side pocket to hold your phone, giving you quick access. Oh, I like that. I like that. Yeah, that sounds fantastic. You can do that, and maybe even secure it with some Velcro or a little button or a zipper. You know, you can do something like that. Very cute. Okay, let's head over to the news, because we've got quite enough to do today. Alrighty, so let's go over to, and this pronunciation on this stuff is a little off, but we'll see. The Mascarle Museum of Art. This is in Williamsburg. I don't know if I said that right, but they're leading a really special project called the Great American Birthday Quilt. And this is to celebrate the country's 250th birthday in 2026. They're inviting folks everywhere to design a quilt block that shares their story about what they like about America, their dreams, their memories, and even a piece of family history. So here's the fun part. You don't even need to know how to sew if you don't want to. You can create a square just with fabrics, scissors, and glue. And you can add buttons, ribbons, yarn, sequins, feathers, whatever tells your story. Of course, if you're the experienced quilter, you know, you're welcome to stitch it in the traditional way too. And all of the blocks will be stitched together into one enormous quilt, 5 feet tall and 250 feet long. It'll go on tour around historic sites before finally being displayed at the Colonial Williamsburg in 2026. Doesn't that sound like so much fun? The deadline for you to send in a square is November the 30th, and there are even some free workshops along the way to help you create your block. If you'd like to join this, you can visit williamsburg.com/America250-birthday-quilt for instructions on how to submit your piece. And you can go there to get all kinds of information. So it's really nice that, you know, you can get a whole bunch of crafters from all over the world to just kind of submit a block and then just kind of display how everyone makes that block. I think that's pretty cool to be able to see how everyone thinks a little differently and puts a block together. So I think that's a fun one to do. Okay, we've got something else going on, and this is in Paducah, Kentucky. The National Quilt Museum is coming up with something pretty amazing. They're teaching kids math, science, and engineering through the art of quilting. This new STEAM program takes quilts from bright colors and bold shapes and turns them into lessons into geometry. Things like triangles, trapezoids, and patterns. Kids from kindergarten all the way to high school get to walk through the gallery, see quilts in person, and then use what they've learned to make their own design. Isn't that a clever way to get them interested in geometry, right? Yeah, I think that was cool. Wish my teachers did that. Now, teacher says that the best part is watching the students light up when they realize that math isn't just about numbers on a page. It's hidden in the beauty of everyday things like quilts. And it's not just fun, it's preparing them for problem-solving skills that they're going to need in the future. I think that's a pretty cool story and a clever way to get our kids interested in learning. Alrighty, so that's what we have for our crafting news. And I'm gonna scoot this over to the side here. Okay, let's see. So let me give you, before we get into spooky and sweet, I'm gonna give you one more recap on the autumn skies. This is a Riley Blake design. Some of you guys are doing this design, and I'm not sure where you are at. A couple people had mentioned that they ordered it. So this is a table runner that finishes at 28 by 42, and this is the actual what the actual project looks like. It's got, let me see, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 blocks that you need to complete, and I've got about 12 here. So I've got 12 different blocks, all of them following patterns instructions, and I've got these done. I still have to do a couple more stars, and then I'm ready to start the assembly process on here. And as you can see here, it's really just the cornerstones, and then you'll have your row here that you'll have to put together. So you put all the stars together row by row, and then we have the border, the binding, and the backing to do. So this one's pretty close. Once I finish the last of these stars, it's just a matter of getting that sashing and cornerstones together, and then just really putting it all together here. So this was a pretty quick project. It's just that in between we were traveling, so we had to kind of stop for a while. But I'm gonna try to finish this one up, and then at the same time, I'm also starting the spooky and sweet, because guys, we're already in the middle of August, and we're gonna hit September soon, and then Halloween is gonna be here before you know it. Okay, so this is what I have. We've got spooky and sweet. Now, spooky and sweet, it's a free pattern that you can download. So if you want to do this with scrap fabric that you have in your stash, you can certainly do that. Or you can purchase the quilt kit. Again, I have the link below. And on here, on the instructions, they give you everything that you need. If you bought the kit, it does give you all of the different colors that are come into the kit, and it gives you the naming convention of it. So when I took them out, the fabrics out of the bag, one of the first things I did was try to identify the colors that were here with the numbers, because once you start mixing and matching, then you're not sure what's what. So luckily I noticed that they have the fabrics in the package in the same order that they have this list. So that was really helpful. And so what I did as I went ahead and I just took a little post-it note, and I just wrote what it was. So like this was number 180. It's 9900-185. I just took the last three numbers and I labeled all of my fabrics, and then I went ahead and I starched them. And every time I starch them, I still leave that little post-it note with a little pin attached so that I kind of know, what's what. And then I ironed them all out, and I started doing my cutting yesterday. And so I have gone through what they call is week 1, which is the witchy ghost block. And so I've got all of the cutting here. They do lay it out for you by fabric so that you can take your fabric, square it off, and then go ahead and do all of the cuts. Now they use the little alphabeties for this project, which I would suggest if you haven't used it. I think that's a fantastic little tool to help you put your stuff. And I think now they have the alphabety clips, which is really cool. But I don't have those, so I just used a little post-it note. And so I ended up, let me turn it around so it's kind of facing the right way. I ended up just putting a little post-it notes and just identifying all the little cuts that I made. And so everything's kind of in my design board here. And this is everything that I'm going to need that's identified for week 1, the witchy ghost block. And so these are all the cuts here for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 different fabrics. Some of them only needed like 1 cut. But you're going to be needing them again once you get to week 2 and week 3. So I just went ahead and made these cuts. One thing that always makes me nervous is, am I going to have enough fabric? If I cut things the wrong way, am I going to have enough fabric? So that's always kind of in the back of your mind, like, but luckily these fabrics are pretty much solid prints. So, worst case, if you mess it up, you can always get another solid that matches up that color, or you can call them up and see if they have it available in the store. So that's now at the point where I am. And so now I have all my cuts in place sitting in my design board, and I'm ready to start stitching. So I am now on page 2. And I'm going to be starting right on the top here, and we're just going to kind of go down the line and see how far I can get doing this first little block. So I think this will be a lot of fun. So if you're following me along, I hope you're in a similar spot and you're ready to start sewing. So this will be fun, kind of putting it together live with you guys. So let's see how it goes. All right. So let's get to this. I'm going to grab another swivel here. Oh, Cindy, what size is the Spooky and Sweet? Let's see here. Don't remember offhand. Let's see. It's probably in the end. Let's see. Do they give us a finished size? Good question. Well, you know what? I think it depends what you want to make with this, because there's different layouts that you can make. Let me show you this page. So this is like week 4. This is the finishing page. And there's different layouts that you can do. So you can do this wall hanging here, and that finished size is 30.5 by 34.5. And that's with this layout. Or you can do like this banner right here. And that finished size is 17.5 by 65.5. So finished size really depends what you decide to do. I'm going to go ahead and do the little wall hanging one. I think the banner is probably just a little too long for me. I think I might do this one. But there's different layouts that you can do. So it really depends what it is you want to do. It'll show you how to sew the blocks themselves together, and then you decide what layout you want. You can either do that wall hanging, or you can do the little door banner. And I'm not sure if there's any others. Let me see. Hold on. Yeah, no, I think those are it. It's the wall hanging or the door banner. Those are the two. That's adorable. I have all my Halloween fabric out right now. Awesome. Yay. Well, this is, it is a fun and pretty simple layout, which is why it's just a lot of solid colors on here. So that makes it a little bit easier if you have stuff in your stash to kind of use. And you can totally make this your own and make it, a little bit different. But it's going to be a lot of fun. So let's kind of move this over. I'm going to bring this to the side here, because I'm going to slide over my little sewing machine here. Oops, and I just dropped the cord. Let me grab that. There we go. It just fell off the machine. Okay, there we are. So I think we are ready to go. And let me just flip over to the page where the instructions are. Okay, so again, we're starting off with the Witchy Ghost Block Assembly. And right off the bat, the very first line, draw a diagonal line on the wrong side of fabric Y square. So I'm already getting the hint that we're going to be doing the stitch and flip. So it's telling you with right sides together, facing the fabric Y on the square, on the left hand side of the fabric D, stitch it down, trim away. Yeah, this is stitch and flip. That's basically the first technique right off the bat that you need to do. So we know that stitch and flip, you can use that cornered ruler, right? We have that. We could use that, or we can do it the way the instructions are telling us to do it. It's however you'd like. But first, let's gather the fabrics we're going to need. You're going to need fabrics D and Y. I tried to keep everything somewhat in the same order. So I've got here A, B, C, and then it kind of depended how long the piece was and where I had to lay it out. So here is D. So I'm going to slide this one out because it's all the way underneath. So that's one piece you're going to need, and we're also going to need Y. So I'll grab that as well. And note that when you're cutting these things, it's not just one piece. There's sometimes that you'll have to cut multiple pieces of the same size. So, because one thing I did do is I cut one, and then I realized, oh wait, I need 2 of that one and 3 of that one. So you might have to go back and, kind of cut that again. So this is what we're gonna use. Let's see. Oh, I know, Leslie, I know you received your Trimmer by George ruler. I'm hoping that you are able to use that on your next project and show us what you made with that, because that's going to be a lot of fun. So for this project, we're going to try, let me see if I can grab that ruler. I've got the bigger one. Here's the smaller one. Okay. Got all my rulers on that top drawer. and I like to kind of lay them flat so that they don't get warped. So this is the folded corner clipper ruler. It's by Creative Grids, and this ruler will help you when you're doing anything like the stitch and flip method. So you can do it the old-fashioned way, drawing the diagonal line, and then just, you know, sewing it and trimming it. That's one way to do it. Using this ruler, you kind of do things a little bit out of order. So you'll go ahead and cut it, because you measure it out with a ruler, and then you go ahead and do the cut, and then you sew, versus sewing and then cutting. So this one kind of is a little bit more dangerous, but it's pretty accurate, and it gives you a nice way to kind of line things up to make sure that it's there. So let's see. Let me show you guys what the ruler looks like in case you haven't seen it. There you go. Yay, Leslie, you're excited to try the trimmer by George on a project. Awesome. Awesome. I'm glad you got it, and I hope you have fun with that. That's really great when you are doing embroidery, to get that backing fabric and batting out of your way. It really helps, and it really makes a difference on there. So that's a nice thing to do. Now I went ahead and I cut these, and then after I cut it, I gave it yet another press yesterday, so I don't need to iron it again. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my little post-it notes and try to kind of keep the letters for my next project, right? Because I keep going through post-it notes and cutting things. I really need to get the little alphabeties. I think that really will help. Okay, so let's see here. So it wants you to draw that diagonal line on the Y fabric, which is this little square here. And it wants you to do right sides together and draw and kind of assemble it to the D fabric. So let me see, I'm going to move this a little bit so that you guys can see. So move that over and scoop this over. Let's see if that helps. Okay. So I'm going to line these up here and put these together. And then let's see here. Now the whole thing, once you're done stitching this, the whole thing needs to measure 2.5 by 13.5. So it should maintain, let's see if I can line it up here, at 13.5 inches. It should maintain that same length that you have here. The width stays the same, and then the length stays the same. So the idea is just to kind of cut that piece, and then this will flip over, and it will actually be replacing this corner right here. That's all you're doing. You're just trying to replace that corner. And so that's why they want you to draw that line and do all of that. We're going to try to do it with the folded corner clipper here. Now let's see, I'm going to line this up at 2.5 inches because that's what the measurement is for this square. I'm going to line it up this way, and I'm going to line it up this way, and this little tiny line going up here. I'm going to line them all three up, and then we're going to go ahead and do our cut right here. It's going to cut this side of the square along with the gray fabric underneath, and then we're going to flip this piece over. That will replace that and keep the base shape of this bottom fabric. Okay, and then we're going to sew that together along the 1/4 inch seam line. Oh, your friend made you a set of alphabet markers on her cutting machine. Yeah, I was debating on doing some of those. I just haven't had the time. You also use wood spring open clip pins. Oh, clothespins marked on them. They work great and they cost less money. Yeah, that's a good idea. Some clothespins. That's a great idea. So, you know, I just have to get to it. That's all I need to do. All right, so let me see if I can line this up nicely here. And then I'm going to try to turn it so that you guys can see. And grab my little rotary cutter. I am using the Quilter's Select blade. It's got a little bit of weight on it. Now, this one is the 60-inch, but I would prefer the 45. They just didn't have it available when I went to get them. You just received that ruler. Thank you for showing this. Oh, awesome. Awesome. That's great. Well, I'm glad. It's a great ruler. I mean, this is a great ruler. The Trimmer by George is a great ruler. We got to thank Hoop Sisters for that. That was really awesome of them to provide that. And then, you know, Sue, you're awesome. You're amazing as well. Celia, amazing as well. You know, you guys are really on top of your game and just, you know, helping me kind of get to the right tools to do the right things. I mean, it's really nice. Celia sent me the larger version of that ruler, of this ruler here. It's really, really awesome. So I got to find a project for that one with a larger size. So, okay. So let's get to this. I'm going to get this a little closer to me because I feel like I need to see really well. Okay. Again, I lined it up here, lined it up across, lined it up here, and up here on the top, it's got that little piece that I want to be able to make sure it's there. So lots of fraying here, I have to say, but I'm going to go ahead and cut this off and pull it away. You can make another project with this, so this will go in my stash. And then I'm going to take this ruler off, and I know I have a 1/4 inch seam that I have to do right here, so I'm going to bring that to my machine without moving it a whole lot. I'm just going to hold on to it and drag my machine over and just kind of lay this down and see if I can line this up. Okay. I'm going to go right on my 1/4 inch seam line. Let me back up here just a little bit. Bring that down and bring down my needle. My needle is already centered. And let me grab my little foot. There it is. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and just sew that together. And a little hard for me to see with the camera in the way, but we're going to just go with it. Okay. Needle up, foot up. Bring that over. We've got our nice, let's go back to the sew cam. I forgot to show them the 1/4 inch seam. Very nice. And now we're just going to flip this over. Nice and flat surface. Go ahead and flip this over. Hand press that. And we've got our perfect little corner there, right? Very nice. Now we do need to press this down, but we want to then measure to make sure that we are still at 13.5 inches. So let me lay this down again. Hold on. And lay this across. I can get 13.5. Yep, we're right on the money. 13.5 inches on my mat here. So, oh, it's hard for you guys to see. Sorry. Let me do if I do it this way. You guys can see it here. I'm kind of holding this down because we haven't pressed it yet. And line this up. And there we go. Kind of right on the edge here, up to 13.5. I can move this a little bit more. Okay. So we have maintained that. We do have to press this to make sure that that stays nice and flat. So let's see. I'm going to have to move some stuff around to get us settled with the iron. And I'm going to move this over. And I've got my little mini with me. Yay! Got the little mini. I also have the mama right by her side. Because I was pressing all of this, so I did need the bigger iron yesterday. And today, I think for these little pieces, we can go ahead and use the little one. So this is gonna be perfect for this type of work. Okay, yeah, mama and baby together, yay. Alrighty, so I've got the cord. The cord is quite large, which is really good because you just never know where you have your outlet if it's not really nearby. It gives you a really, really long distance to be able to do this with, which is really great. Well, I've got my little plugs hanging out here to make it a little bit easier. I kind of moved it around different places to see where would be the best place. So I decided this one is probably the best one because it's closer to me. So it makes it a little easier. Okay, so we're going to move this little scrap over in the corner. And I'm going to grab, sorry, little mama, I'm going to have to move you over so I can grab my little ironing board here. And then I'm going to go ahead and do that. What ruler is that? Leslie, if you're asking, this is the folded corner clipper is what it's called. It's by Creative Grids. And I think, do we have a link for it below? We may have a link for it below. It'll take you straight there so you can see which one it is. But this one is the mini one. If not, it's in my Amazon shop. You can find it there. But this is the one that will help you to do the stitch and flip method. So we've got the small one. And then, of course, we've got the big one that I received. Thank you so much yet again. So this is the one we're using for this project. So let's see here. I'm gonna lay this flat, and I think this is, yeah, it's getting heated up now. We'll wait for that to heat up a little bit. And once that does, this will be nice and pressed. And we've already done the first step. I mean, that was pretty quick, huh? Once you have everything cut out and laid out, it can go pretty fast. You know, I'm of course talking and explaining each step, so that takes more time. But if you were just doing this on your own, you could go really quickly with this. So we will definitely have this done before Halloween. So that'll be great. Okay, I think it is ready. And let me just double check. I've got my settings good to go. So we've got our little iron. I flipped this over. And that's one thing I didn't notice. And I'll put this down here. On these little silicone things that they give you to hang, there's one side that's for storage, right? That's where you can kind of clip in the little corner spots. And then you have the resting side. So when you flip it over, the resting side is there. And this, it tells you on the top, I didn't even notice that's what this was for, but you've got here the storage side. See where it says storage side? And then you can kind of clip your stuff in there, right? You clip the edges of the iron and then the tip, and that'll hold it in place and you can actually hang it. But then when you're using the iron and you flip this over, this is the resting side. And I didn't realize you could flip this over and actually just rest the iron on here. So I always kind of just put it, you know, this way, because that's just what I'm just so conditioned to do all the time. But anyway, okay, so this is ready to go. And I'm going to flip it over this way. Let's go ahead and iron this. So one thing this iron does is it does have a little light on here. I don't know if you guys can see that. When you tilt it up, it turns it off. But when you go back down, it turns back on. And it really lets you see what you are ironing, which is pretty cool. Okay, so let's set the seam first. And I did forget to take out my clapper. So let me just grab that really quick. I'm actually going to use my clapper for my seams. And I've got this one. It's just as good as the regular clapper. because it has the wood on the bottom. And so with that, now that you set your seams, that's really important to do that. Now you can go ahead and flip it. Now, where does your seam go? You want to kind of pick the darker fabric so it doesn't show, right? So I'm going to pick that side, and then I'm going to grab the iron again, push against the seam, and just go right over it and just let it sit there for a few seconds. Just kind of jiggle it. You want to let the heat kind of soak into the fabric, absorb it so it can make that crisp little seam. And then you want to grab your clapper and put it right on top with a little bit of pressure on here and let the wood soak up the heat and really make that seam nice and crisp. It will really lay it down flat, which is exactly what you want. It really does make a difference and help in the accuracy of your sewing. Oh, scrapping like a lady, can you do some beginner embrilliance videos? Absolutely. Actually, I've been kind of toying around with that, and I need to kind of video them. I just keep playing around with it, and I got to get to the video part. But yeah, absolutely. It's in my plan of to-dos on there. Yeah, definitely. Let's see. Oh, Jenny has a question on the Amazon link from the GiftsHQ website. I'll let Mr. H handle that one. And I think he'll handle all of the technical stuff on there. So here we are, nice and crisp. I'm going to give it the rest of it just a little bit of a press as well, just because we like to keep things nice and in order. And I'll slide it down here again, giving that a little bit of a press again. And just because I pressed it again, I will do it one more time here. Okay. So that is our first step. We've gone ahead and done that. So now let's take a look to see what is next on here. So now we've got another unit to do, and they've got these little diagonal little dots. I'm sorry, not these little, not diagonal, these little horizontal blocks that little stars that they put in between each step so that you don't get confused. So this is the one that we just did, and now we're going to go to another unit here, and then eventually you'll be assembling them, and you can see it over on this side of the page that's how this whole thing comes together. So you can see this bottom brim right here, that looks like what we just finished doing right now. So that, I'm sorry, not the bottom, the top right here. That's the one that we just did. So this is all part of the hat, the little witch hat. So let's go to the next one. And for the next one, you're going to need fabrics X and fabric B. So I will pull those out. So fabric B, it's kind of a long one. So let me jiggle this out here. And then we're going to need fabric X. Scoot this iron over because I don't want to burn myself. Let's see, I think this is X right here. Okay. And those are the only two that you're going to need for this next one. You have never seen those words. Thanks for telling us that. Just went to check my iron out. Yeah, I know, right? I never noticed it either. And then I don't know what it was I was doing, and it just kind of like, yeah, smack the head moment. Yeah. Yeah, Marina, smack the head. That's exactly what happened to me. I didn't realize that either. And I was kind of like, oh, I never noticed that. I mean, it hit me like a brick. I was kind of like, oh, it was right in front of me. And I never noticed that. And I always knew that, you know, you can store it and you can clip them. And it still kind of made me a little nervous to keep my iron, you know, on the silicone mat and then just kind of hang it. I was like, that's an expensive iron to hang and just have a little mat holding it. But it does really hold it well. But then, you know, when you flip it over, it has the resting side. Duh, smack on the head. Yeah, didn't know that either until I saw that and it was kind of like, oh, okay, eye-opening moment, right? Yeah, we get one of those every once in a while, I guess, right? Okay, so we've got our two little pieces here, and let me, let's see. So this is the B fabric and the X is the darker fabric. So I'm going to take these little notes and my pins off here, set them over to the side. And the pins that I use for the sticky notes are like my really bad pins. Like I've got some that are bent, but it's okay because it's just holding the sticky notes. So I'm good with that. So let's see. I'm going to scoot this over. I'm going to put it back over here. And then we can work with just these two. All right, let's see. This one is saying draw a diagonal line on the wrong side of the fabric. Sounds like we're doing the stitch and flip again. With the right sides facing together, lay the X square on the top of the B square rectangle. Stitch the drawn line and trim away 1/4 inch from the seam. It's going to measure 3.5 by 6.5. So sounds like the same thing again, stitch and flip. So let's go ahead. I'm going to move this over and line this up once more. Got all these little fuzzies here. And I'm going to just put it on top here. Make sure, let me make sure this does measure. I know you guys can't see this, but I'm just checking the measurement, 6.5. Yep. So we're good. From here to here, it is 6.5. And we're going to maintain 6.5. That's the goal, right? So we've got the square lined up right on top. And I'm going to go ahead and grab this again. Now this square, let's see what it's measuring. Right, it's measuring at 3.5. So okay, so now let's line that up here and here. Let me get it closer to me so I can see, and then I will bring it back over to you. Yeah, scoot that a little bit. There we are. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure that my fabric's lined up here, here, a little piece here, and a little piece here. And it looks like we are all good to go. So grab that rotary cutter, hold it down with some pressure, and then go ahead and make that cut. Scoot that away. You always scoot it away before you lift up the ruler, okay? Because sometimes the rotary cutter may not cut it the whole way, right? You may have to just run it again. So if you scoot this away and you leave everything else the way it is, you're able to kind of do that again. So put that over to the side. I'm going to lift up the ruler here, and let's kind of gently pick this up without moving it around, lay it down here, and we're ready to sew this piece. And one more time, 1/4 inch seam is what we're going to need here. And we are sewing on the diagonal. So that's always a little nerve-wracking because there's a lot of stretch going on that diagonal. So you definitely don't want to do much with the fabric. Try not to pull on it or anything like that, because you can kind of get it out of whack if you do that. Okay, line this up with a 1/4 inch seam. Got my needle in the center here. Go ahead and put my needle down, and we're ready to go here. Just hold the fabric down with your fingers just to make sure that you're going to maintain that 1/4 inch seam. Now, when you're doing this 1/4 inch seam, your eyes are not on the needle. Your eyes are actually looking down here to make sure that your fabric is going to stay lined up on that 1/4 inch seam line, right? We just want to make sure we don't turn or twist anywhere around. So just make sure that you're doing that. And you can also use your fingers to help guide that along. And you just kind of slowly go through. Now this is where I struggle a little bit. When you're getting towards that very end, there's nothing for me to hold on to here. I have to kind of rely on my side, and sometimes I kind of twist away a little bit, and so my edges won't be that 1/4 inch seam. So I have to try to trust the machine and let the feed dogs do its thing. I can have like one finger guiding, but I try not to pull it. Let the feed dogs feed the fabric and go through. And then once you do that, you can raise that needle and pick up that presser foot. And then we can kind of move this over to the side. Let's take a look really quick back at the sew cam so we can see that 1/4 inch seam all the way across, even on the edges. So very nice. Okay, so let me grab my little ironing board here. And again, we got to set that seam first. So we want to do that. And let me just show you here on the desk cam. You can see that here. Nice in place there, okay? So let's go ahead and set the seam first. I want to do that. Go ahead and press that down. Let it sit for a few seconds just so you can do that, okay? Hey, Lori, good morning from Alaska. Amazing. Oh my goodness. Wow, you're aboard the NCL Bliss. Beautiful. Oh my gosh, you must be having a fantastic time on a cruise, and I bet you got the best view in the world. I can only imagine the things you are seeing in Alaska. Wow. Have a fantastic time. Thank you for tuning in. That really is, that's amazing, guys. That's amazing. Love it. Okay, so I've set my seam, and then I'm going to go ahead and put my clapper on top. And then we're going to go ahead and flip this over. That's so amazing. You're on a cruise. Oh my gosh. Amazing, amazing. So much fun. All right, so let's go ahead. Flip the fabric over here. Finger press that down. Looks pretty cool. I'm going to go ahead and press this and try to just kind of sit on the diagonal for just a few seconds here. And then I'm going to grab my clapper and let it absorb the heat and make that nice and flat for me. And this one should be maintained at 6.5 inches. So, and it's 3.5 by 6.5. So I believe we have done that. So let's kind of, I'm going to press it one more time, but I'm going to set this over here and measure this out. And it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5. Looks like that is perfect. We are right on. So looks great. And we've already completed the first 2 steps on this thing, and we're just going to keep on going here, finishing up the hat. And iron that again and just press that one more time. Okay. So we have made it to the end of our hour, guys, and it's been amazing. Lots of fun. I hope you guys are doing this so along with me and enjoying our time together. Let's kind of head over to our inspirational quote of the day, because we've kind of missed that the last couple of days. So let's see here. I'm going to head over to inspirational quote of the day, and it is: every stitch holds the promise of discovery, inviting hearts to join in a shared creative adventure. And that's exactly what we're on. We're on this adventure, finishing up this little new quilt project, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And I hope you guys are enjoying all the projects that we do on this channel. And we have lots of fun while we're doing it, right? We have those little moments that's kind of like, oh, we didn't know that. We like to share all those tips. So I think that's fantastic. So thank you guys again for all of your support. I think it's really great that we can kind of get together and share all kinds of ideas together from all over the world. I mean, gosh, Alaska. Who knew, right? You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. I really appreciate all the support. I hope you have a fantastic day, and don't forget to support other YouTubers that are out there. They're working hard on that content. So go ahead and show them your support. Thank you again for tuning in, and I hope to be crafting with you soon. Bye, everyone.
So long for now, so long. Glad you stayed a while. Hope you liked my crafting style. Hope I left you with a smile. By now, keep your mind and space clutter-free. Hope your day is bright as can be. So long, my friends, till we craft once again. Bye now, stay crafting. See you tomorrow.